The Canadair Regional Jet, or CRJ family, is a series of aircraft developed and built by Bombardier since 1991. Initially a Challenger 600, it was lengthened and converted into a commercial aircraft for shorter regional routes. 1,825 airframes have been built as of March 2017. During the summer of 2017, Aerosoft teamed with Digital Aviation to release the CRJ X-Pack, which includes both the CRJ 700 and 900 aircraft variants. With development starting in 2010, 7 years have gone into this aircraft, meaning a lot is expected from Digital Aviation. During this review, I'll look in depth at each feature that this aircraft includes, and also discuss what this aircraft brings to the flight simming community. When purchasing the CRJ X-Pack from the FS Pilot Shop, you are provided with an unlock key and a zip file. The zip file contains the installer for FSX, P3D V3 and P3D V4. Aerosoft licensing agreements are also included in multiple languages, and numerous PDF documents describing the different parts of the aircraft. When running the installer, you are asked to input your email and serial key. Once accepted, select your chosen simulator, and the rest of the installation is automatic. There are in total 11 different PDF manuals and documents included with this aircraft. These range from a quick reference guide to the flight management system and other tutorials. These are all in-depth and give the user a good outlook of the aircraft, how it works and how each system functions with one another. The exterior model of the aircraft is clean, sharp and of high quality. New models were created for both variation of CRJ that comes with this add-on. These also match that of the real aircraft. The modelling itself goes into a lot of minor detail, including numerous aerials and fins across the body, pumps in the wings when the flaps and slats are deployed, cables surrounding the gear, and much finer detailing defined within bump mapping across the body. Passenger windows also have some depth to them, but unlike recent add-ons, no full passenger cabin has been modelled. Instead, you have the silhouettes of passengers appearing on some of the seating rows. Animations on the aircraft are also modelled to a high standard, including all flight surfaces, flaps, doors, air stairs and more. One of the most notable of the animations being the stairs, in which you can also lower the banister, enabling for jet bridge access to the aircraft. These all match the correct movement of the controls and also add more depth to the realism to the package. Although no wing flex, however, this was something that Digital Aviation chose not to implement early in development. Exterior lighting is also of a very high quality and looks great at different times of the day. If you're in P3D V4, this lighting is also fully volumetric and will light up anything that the beam hits, adding to the realism that this package provides. There are a total of 26 different liveries across both models that come with this package. Textures are also modelled in 2K resolution, which allows for high quality liveries for each airline included. Text on the exterior is also sharp and easy to read when viewed from a fairly close distance. The cockpit model has also been modelled to the same high standard as the exterior, with 2K resolution texturing being used throughout. The shape and style of the cockpit matches that of the real CRJ aircraft, with each panel engaged well represented within the cockpit. Everything is 3D, meaning you will not find a flat surface anywhere on the aircraft. This goes as far to include the FMC and ICAS displays, which are all put behind the screen, which goes to show you how much detail Digital Aviation have put into the model. The cockpit is easy to navigate, with the overhead panel being both compact and easy to access. Display settings are located on the side panels, with each screen being clear and easy to read. Switches are logically placed which also enables the user to enjoy flying the aircraft. Lighting in the cockpit also looks and feels authentic, and also adds depth to the aircraft, with the CRJ cockpit having a series of floodlights on the roof and baton bulbs which sits behind the autopilot, which in turn shine down onto the console. This makes this add-on even more of a joy to fly during the evenings and night times, as you always have something to look at. One thing definitely worth mentioning is that the developers have really pushed and focused on the 3D virtual cockpit in terms of usability and looks, to the point that there is no default 2D view. Rather than have no panel and the world flat on the screen for the standard cockpit view, as most other airlines would have gone for, this aircraft will default to the virtual cockpit, forcing you to use it, which in my opinion is no bad thing. Some gauges and systems have however been given a 2D panel, such as the FMC, ICAS display and PFD, but these are very limited. Knowing that there are quite a few users who still enjoy using their 2D cockpits, and though having a 3D only option might put quite a few users off, to these people I would seriously say, give it a go. The cockpit is really well done. Oh, and do also keep an eye out for a few Easter eggs that Aerosoft have put around the cockpits. One small thing I've noticed is that when you put your mouse over the airspeed plate, located over the ICAS display, a hint pops up telling you to click on it to hide the yoke. Upon doing this does not actually happen, meaning that this feature has not yet been implemented into the add-on. However, in my opinion, it should be added soon, as I do know people who own a yoke will like to hide the in-game yoke, giving them full flying effects. Digital Aviation have put a lot of detail into the functionality of the aircraft, giving it a high fidelity model. All buttons and switches on the aircraft are functional and work within the aircraft, including button covers which can be opened and closed by clicking on them. Displays are also adjusted through a small panel on the left and right sides of the cockpit. These include 3 brightness dials for displays, integral lighting, flood lighting, and numerous ICAS options such as traffic and terrain mode. One extra feature that I also like included with this aircraft is the HUD on the captain's side. Clicking on the frame lowers it in front of the window, giving the user information such as virtual horizon, airspeed, bank angle, altitude over the real world, and more. You cannot, however, control the brightness of the display, making this the only dial that is non-functional within this cockpit. The CRJ-X also includes a fully functional FMC, which allows for the pilots to program the aircraft and fly it straight from cold and dark until arrival at gate after landing. This system is based on the real CRJ aircraft and includes ARAC cycle 1708 for navigation and waypoints. The autopilot will also use the system routing along the flight path set. Some people have reported the aircraft occasionally veering away from this, however, myself included, meaning the system still may have a few bugs which do need to be ironed out. The DAVE aircraft tablet system is also included with the virtual cockpit. This is a small extra that gives the user even more control over the aircraft and includes weight, fuel, aircraft state, and more. Personally, I quite like the system, as for many pilots, tablets and iPads are now becoming a part of their day-to-day operation with checklists, charts, and more, making this a valuable extra for CRJ. Some, however, will disagree with me and call it childish and simple, making this a matter of opinion. RAS Pro from FS2 Crew is also included, but locks only to this aircraft and is an optional install. No auto throttle system has been included with this package, meaning that the user will have to manually manage the speeds during flight of the aircraft. On the real CRJ, there was a third-party auto throttle option through SafeFlight, but very few airlines have used this, with the system most commonly found on both the 100 and 200 series aircraft. Speaking of the throttle, I've also noticed that you cannot use an Xbox controller or some throttle quadrants to manage it. Some other people have also mentioned this same issue with controllers and throttle quadrants. This is another thing Aerosoft may need to look into, as throttle management of the keyboard is not the nicest when you aren't used to it. A new custom sound set has also been included with this add-on. Sounds have been recorded directly from the CRJ 700 using high quality recording equipment. Samples are of a very high standard, and with carefully planned loops there is no audible cut when each sound is active. Sounds include exterior and interior ambience, engine startup and shutdown, numerous engine spool stages, alarms, buttons, and more. Aerosoft have also included an external sound system where some sounds will be played in the background outside of the simulator itself. This has allowed for multiple sounds to stack while retaining their high quality, giving the user full immersion, especially within the cockpit itself. Extra sounds have also been included, such as a couple of miscellaneous co-pilot sounds, such as coughing and page turning, and a selection of flight attendant announcements. While some people will find this adding to the immersion, I personally am not a fan of it. It could also potentially conflict with certain add-ons that also provide similar functions, such as FS passengers and smart cars. Adding an option to disable this in the DAVE tablet would be appreciated. Aerosoft have had a good reputation for creating aircraft with both realistic and believable flight dynamics, and this is true for the CRJ. Both aircraft have separate .air files, which mean that different factors such as limitations of manoeuvrability are defined on each variant of the aircraft. The CRJ aircraft is known within the aviation community to sometimes struggle whilst climbing due to the shape of the aircraft and the power output it gives. Climbing above 10,000 feet is generally quite shallow and can lead to a stall if not managed properly. As this aircraft does not include autothrottle, this means that the pilot is required to lower the rate of climb and focus on the speed for the majority of the flights. On a fully loaded CRJ 900, V-rotate is set to 155 knots, with around 130 knots being the stall speed. On a fully loaded CRJ 700, V-rotate will be set at 137 knots, with around 120 knots being the stall speed. Service ceiling for both aircraft is set at 41,000 feet, although by the time you reach 35,000 feet, the aircraft will really start to struggle to climb at anything more than 500 feet per minute. This is due to the engine not producing enough power to keep on pushing. Deep stall is also simulated. This is when a rear-mounted engine aircraft flies at a certain angle, the airflow between the front wings and the back wings become disrupted, leading to a loss of control from the rear wings as the aircraft cannot control the airflow around it, leading to a stall where the aircraft struggles to recover. The CRJ does have a stick pusher installed, however, where if the nose starts to pitch to a high angle, the aircraft will automatically push the nose down, assuming it's not too late for recovery. From what I've seen and experienced, I have a feeling that this aircraft does represent that of its real-life counterpart, and apart from the minor issues mentioned in the review, I don't have any real complaints about the Aerosoft Drawyah Aviation CRJ 700 and 900X. This is a fantastic aircraft to fly through and through. The combination of the aircraft modelling, audio included, flight dynamics and control systems leaves us with a well-worked high-fidelity aircraft that matches that of the real thing. I've taken this aircraft on numerous flights in and out of Europe and the US, and I have enjoyed experimenting with what the developers have included. One of the biggest selling points with this aircraft is the fact that it has a fully functioning FMC. While there are a couple of CRJ Challenger add-ons available for FSX and P3D, this is the first to include the system being fully functional, and being able to program the aircraft from cold and dark to gate throughout every stage of the flight means that flying the CRJ never gets boring, as there is always something for you to do. Performance has also been good, especially on my Dell Inspiron 155546 laptop, which I also tried this aircraft on. And how about the 7-year wait for the add-on itself? There was a beta test back in 2012, but I was meant to stay behind closed doors until one member leaked this online for people to take. While at the time this did cause a stir within the community due to the incomplete nature of the aircraft, Digital Aviation spurred on and carried on developing their aircraft for another 5 years until they deemed it ready for release. I would definitely recommend this aircraft to anyone. This has been an instant fan favourite for many people, myself included, and will continue to be so for a very long time to come.